couple years down the road, it's your first Friday. It's like your first weekend off in forever. The Valve is the Valve is closed.
Why?
There's like it's like one of those things that happens on 6th Street that they just shut down, like the what's the garage sale
Oh, the
fair
Pecan
thing or the
Street Festival is one of them. Yeah.
yeah, where they have vendors that line the street and it's just
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you're not gonna yeah, it's an event like that, right?
So fuck it. Let's take
It's
the night.
called
Okay, yeah.
yeah, it's called Let's Take the Night, a garage sale. So there's a there's a local organization called they call themselves Garage Sale Anonymous. And they just put up like rogue garage sales all across the city in like very inconvenient places.
Holy shit.
Uh, One time they had like a coordinated effort where they held a garage sale in the drive-through lane of every fast food restaurant from North Austin all the way down to South Austin.
Who would go to this?
I don't know, people who know where the Whataburger on uh on Ben White is at, you know?
Yeah.
Or somebody who just happens to know where that the McDonald's there on the corner of Barton Springs and Lamar.
Okay.
Just those people who know where those kind of places are would go.
But it sounds like
Because let me tell you, May 24th, 8:33 p.m.
yeah.
Garage Sale Anonymous shut down every fucking fast food place in Austin. And they
What?
were not leaving until they sold at least $50 worth of merchandise.
But hold on. But
Yeah.
how could they do that without getting like arrested? Like who
The cops just never like fucked with them, you know?
why?
The cops were like, this is a private matter, folks.
It's, that's honestly that sounds like Austin PD. So yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They were too busy assaulting progressive kids at UT. But
Uh,
point being, at 8:33, everything gets shut down.
yeah.
And this is sort of how like Austin Garage Sale Anonymous, this is how they like raise money, you know. Look, we'll get out of here, but you got to buy $50 worth of stuff. Okay. And then once they raise their $50, they pack leave and they fill their fucking coffers this way, right? It might not sound like a lot, but $50 across every single fast food place in the city of Austin, in Austin city
Yeah.
limits. Yeah, they raised like several $1,000s.
Yeah, it's gonna add up for sure.
Yeah. And some of them, frankly, sold way more than $50. Some of them had some stuff that was like a pretty good deal, you know?
Like what?
So like, yeah. Um, so it's kind of interesting. They have this thing where like during this time they will have like, like it's kind of like a competition, like who can bring in the most money, you know? And they have to spend like 30 if you make $50 right away, like you have to spend at least 30 minutes there in the drive-through, you know. That's like a minimum,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
It's like a donation of your time as well.
Yeah.
So the people who like really sold a lot, there was one woman, her name was Virginia Southard, and she sold $22,000 worth of
Whoa.
goods uh at her garage sale, which took place at a Wendy's drive-through. The one right there by that the HEB near Manor
Jeez.
off the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a set of china and these people came through and they were like, well, we wanted like a double stack, but we'll see what you got. So they were like looking through her table,
Yeah.
and some guys like, look, I'm a China expert. It's what I do. He goes, this is worth like a significant amount of money. You should look into this. And she did, and it turns out like this set of plates was worth like $50,000.
Look
And
into
she and
this.
she's like, she does look into this. So she looks into this and sees again like $50,000. And this guy, he's like, look, I can write you a check for $22,000 right now, and I'll take them
Wow.
off your hands. You never have to worry about it, and I'll take on the risk of selling them in what is currently a volatile China market. Sweat forms on his brow. His hand shakes as he writes the check.
Holy shit.
He writes it, tears it, and exhales deeply. He looks Virginia in the face and he goes, cash this before I change my mind.
Wow.
She runs right over to a bank on the corner, deposits it. He takes the china, puts it in like a brown paper box, gets back in his car, drives around her table, gets his biggie fries and double stack, drives home. So some of these people make some serious money,
Yeah.
and they donate back to the group. So yeah, it's one of those things that's like going on all of it's one of these groups, right? So they have let's take back the night. And they line up their tables on 6th Street. The cops bring out the fucking barriers, right? They go,
Yeah.
whatever. They all make jack off motions to each other. And the cops are like, hey, don't do that. And they're like, what are they going to say? We're helping them out. And he makes like he reaches down underneath the horse and makes a jack off motion, like he's jacking off the horse.
Yeah.
You look at the horse's dick and it gets a little bit bigger.
Oh man.
So, it's just like they're taking back all of 6th Street. So it's closed, right? It's
Yeah.
closed,
All right.
no valve. You take the night off and you think, you know what? I've been working really hard. Numbers are good. People are having a good time. You're doing your job well. You go, I'm going to go out. I'm going to take a night. I'm going to go out by myself. I'm going to enjoy the evening alone.
Okay.
So you're gonna go out to dinner to this place. It's like a medieval times kind of place. Like they it's like shows, it's like a 90-minute dining experience, and you got to sign a waiver when you go in that any bodily harm that becomes to you is your fault or they're not held liable, right? They make a big deal out of it. It's one of those things, really kind of hyping it up, making it seem like danger truly lurks beyond these double doors.
Wow.
Everybody kind of oohs and ahs and they sign it. You go in, you're seated at a table by yourself. You're like right there on the front row. You're looking out on a big pit of dirt.
Yeah. Whoa.
The waitress comes over. She goes, "What do you have?" You hold up the menu and you point to the all you can eat smoked turkey leg challenge.
Challenge.
Oh, it's a challenge.
Okay.
You have 90 minutes, right? You have to eat 4 full-size turkey legs and a basket of fries, each
Oof.
eat with each one in 90 minutes. If you do, it's free. If not, it's $75.
Are you saying there's four baskets of fries, like one with each?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow. That's a
right.
lot of
And you've
fries.
you've thought about it, and that's what you said to yourself as you lie on your back in the middle of the fucking night, staring at your ceiling, keeping awake. You think, can I make this challenge? And in those last hours of a dying day before the sun rises before you, you're still staring at the patterns on your ceiling overhead. You think, it's 4 fucking baskets of fries. And the thought terrifies you and keeps you awake.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yet you sit here, finger pointed right at the menu, looking into the eyes of your waitress. And she goes, okay, the 4 smoked turkey leg challenge begins now. She whistles out loud. You hear like from the kitchen, you hear a bunch of people go, oh shit. She goes back. She brings out your first turkey leg and basket of fries immediately. She goes, ketchup, mustard, any condiments for your fries or for your turkey leg for that matter.
Just ketchup for the fries, please.
She drops a bottle of Heinz on the table.
Thank you.
You dig in. Sometimes if you see these food challenges, you can almost assuredly expect that the food is going to be dog shit, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be bland, and it's not going to be like they don't want to make a thing that you go, I cannot stop eating this. This is how good it is. They want you to make a thing that goes, this fucking sucks.
Yeah. So it's
I
hard
don't
to
want to eat any more of this.
yeah.
But the four turkey leg challenge is not like that because this is a respectful establishment, right? They don't treat their customers like they're bags of cash. They know that you're coming in spending your hard-earned money, right? They respect you. They're going to present you with four exquisite smoked turkey legs the way
Wow.
they would anybody else, and a piping hot basket of fries. None of these are going to be cold. They're not going to be soggy. They're not going to be under seasoned. They're going
Really?
to make sure that you enjoy every bite that you take.
Fucking love fries.
You love fries. That's what you tell the waitress, and she goes, "Don't we all?"
I say that to her.
Yeah. You go, "I
Why?
fucking love fries." I don't know.
Here's my strategy. I use for some reason I use a knife and fork. That's like my thing with French fries for this challenge because it's a challenge. For some reason, I feel like I can almost trick myself into eating more if it's with a fork instead of with my hands. I don't know why, but it's just like a thing that I think I would do.
Well, you did a lot of research coming into this challenge, and you did a lot of Googling, and you're like, what's the best way to eat French fries? And you found a lot of controversial opinions online, right? Some people
Like
there was
what?
this guy in Belgium. His name was Lars Funkelstein. He said the thing you have to do is you have to crush the fries up into a small ball and swallow the ball whole.
Oh,
You know,
weird.
there was a French woman. Her name was Madeleine de Maupassant, and she said that you had to grind all the fries up into a paste and add some water, and then you can use it as like a you can spread it onto things, you can
Oh
it
God,
forms a paste like thing. So you can
sounds
eat it,
awful.
it's more like to eat it with other things. Well, and so that's what you thought. So you certainly didn't subscribe to that philosophy. And
No.
then one day in you saw an article published in the Faithful Fry, a magazine for fry enthusiasts. You saw that they published a guy that says a controversial new best way of eating fries.
Really?
It says, and then it said, grab your utensils. And you almost gasped out loud when you saw that because the
Why?
consensus amongst the fry community is that utensils are not part of the fucking picture, dude. Right? They're not part of the picture. Okay.
Okay.
They're like you use your fucking hands, right? That's how it's a finger food. That's how you eat fries.
Okay.
But there was a guy from Philadelphia. His name was Carl Junk with two K's. He said there's an interview where he's like, my family owned a steak sandwich shop since 1958.
Okay.
He goes, my father is eating a basket of fries every day, and he does it with a fork in between making sandwiches. He said there's no more efficient way to eat French fries than like this. And he explains, his technique, right? And he shows, and you latch onto this idea.
The technique. I mean,
And
who?
yeah, it's just this whole idea of exactly what you're talking about, of like,
Okay.
oh, I'm eating three French fries on a fork, but I'm eating it's one bite,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, as opposed to like a handful. It's just you're just like tricking your brain into thinking that you're consuming less than you actually are. And so you read this theory and you latch onto it and you find that it works for you, right?
Faithful
So you
fries.
bring this plan. You bring this plan into the restaurant. The restaurant is called uh Old with an E on the end. So it's called Old Times. And
Old times.
Old Times. So you're sitting there at Old Times.
So they have this eating challenge while I'm watching like knights fight or compete or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a 90-minute show, basically.
And it's so fucking strange. Okay, well,
So
whatever.
you
I mean,
think that to
I'll do
yourself,
it.
you
I
uh
would definitely do that.
you do it, You put down the first basket of fries, right? You're like, I
Yeah.
have to push through. And when I know that I've got enough time, then I can start to really enjoy this.
Okay.
You push through that first basket of fries, you inhale that first turkey leg, right?
Mm.
It's gone. We're talking like 10 minutes. You raise that fucking clean bone in the air. You hear a whistle, and then you hear all the cooks go, "Oh shit." Another plate comes, sits right down in front of you.
Yeah. All right.
The show has started. They're kind of explaining, how it's gonna go, tell you like an order of events. And the first it's two knights come out and they're fighting each other. They each have it's a sword and shield, a small sword and a shield. And you're watching these guys just beating the shit out of each other. You hear the clang of metal on metal. You see the sparks flying through the air.
Wow.
You bite into the second turkey leg. It's somehow better than the first one. You taste the smoke. You know this thing took a long, long time to cook. You take a bite out of it. You can taste the time on your tongue, and you go, "Thank you to whoever spent their hours making this." So you get on like a pretty good pace.
Okay. How's my night doing?
Uh, so that's not really how it works. I mean, like, there's like teams of knights. There's like several
Oh,
different
okay.
ones. Like you're more like rooting for a side,
Oh,
as
well, I'm
opposed
not,
to
I'm
like an
not like assigned one.
individual.
Okay.
No, it's like it's like there's people on one side of this pit and people on the other side of the pit. There's a red side and a blue side. And you're pulling like there's various knights competing in different things over the course of your meal.
Okay. Am I red or blue?
You are blue.
Cool.
So there's like 10 different events that occur over this time. There's sword fight, like sword and shield fighting, right? There's song and dance. There
Song and
is
dance.
yeah, there's a song and dance. There is a there's like a two-handed club kind of a fight. There is a like a mace, or like something on a chain. There's a fight with those. And then the last one, the highlight of the whole event is the joust. The joust is going to take up the longest amount of time. There's men and women's category. So there's, 10 different events. You're leading into the last few minutes of this and you are a little behind schedule, right? You're like a little behind where you need to be, in order to make the challenge. And you feel that $75 slipping away.
Yeah.
They do the women's joust first. Your side is down by 1 point.
Got to come together on this last one then.
Or pardon me, your side is up by 1 point. So you feel
Oh,
like
shit. Yeah.
so you're like, okay, you feel victory is secured on the field.
Fuck yeah.
If there is a tie, there is like a sudden death joust, like a joust off. So you're like on the edge of your fucking seat, right? You're like, we need this one to win.
I would be, dude. Yeah.
Your Blue Knight comes out riding a brilliant white horse with an auburn brown mane, perfectly maintained, almost cut at like a laser level. It's just perfect. See, he's got a long silver lance pinned at his side. Your whole side cheers. Like you stand up, right? You spill your drink,
Oh,
right? You're
man.
finishing up you're finishing up, right? You're getting you're very, very close.
Am I on the
You're on
fourth?
your yeah, you're on the fourth right now.
Okay.
And you think like I just have to make it before this joust is over and I got it. And you're like munching, right? You use your technique, your fries are in your tum tum. You're like eating this smoked turkey leg.
Cool.
The red knight comes out, your side boos, you scream, you boo, right? You almost burst a blood vessel in your eye, right? The
Jeez.
other team, they're like, hey, fuck you. You know, the people on the other side of the pit,
Yeah.
they're
Well, fuck
screaming
you.
shit, they're throwing things, they're throwing like scraps of food, right? They're throwing like butter knives.
Jeez.
It gets a little intense at old times. You hear the trumpeters blare. Two spotlights come on. One on each rider.
Holy shit.
They take off. The Red Knight on his black stallion looks like hellfire itself.
Fuck.
The Blue Knight on the white horse. They meet in the middle, and you hear the clang and the pierce of metal on metal, and the Blue Knight falls onto his back, gasps for breath.
Ah.
The other side stands up, declaring victory, and then you hear a voice come over the intercom and say, "It's a tie." And you're kind of like dejected. And the Red Knight, he gets off of his horse and he says, so you're like trying to call a waitress over, right? Because you're trying to show her, like, hey, I'm done.
I finished?
And yeah, you finished, right? So you're done. So you're like waiting on the waitress to come over and you're like trying to get her attention. The Red Knight gets off his horse and he says, "This is the best blue team has." And he looks up at the crowd and he goes, "I challenge any one of you motherfuckers." And you like
Whoa.
see the waitress and she looks at you and you hold that turkey leg up in the air
Yeah.
and then you are blinded by a brilliant spotlight.
Oh
And you
no.
hear the red knight say, "A challenger emerges."
No, no, no.
And you're like, "No, I finished." And your waitress like comes over and she was like, "Oh, okay, cool, you finished. Congratulations." She
Thank
goes,
you.
"Have fun in the joust." And she turns
No,
and walks away.
I can't. I'm so full.
Two knights come over to you. You're covered in turkey grease, right?
Oh God.
They both kind of like, "Come with us, sir."
This is so uncomfortable.
And they stand you up and you feel all four of those turkey legs. That's two turkeys worth of legs. You feel multiple turkeys worth of legs in your belly rolling around. And what
Okay.
has to be at least four potatoes, plus ketchup, plus drinks. You are, as they say, full as a dog tick.
It was a dog tick.
Yeah,
That's cool.
your shirt barely fits.
I bet, dude. Yeah.
They walk you out. They introduce you to the white horse. They say, "Put this on." They give you a suit of armor. It doesn't really fit you very well. It's too big. They make you like mount the horse. They give you a lance
Oh
and you trot
man.
out onto the dirt. The horse just kind of does it for you. It's been trained to do this. It
I
knows like
can't.
what to do.
This
And you're
feels
kind of like, what the fuck is going on? And you see
like a
the
guide.
Red Knight walks up to you. The Red Knight walks up to you and he says, "What's your name?" And you look at him and you recognize him immediately.
Oh no.
You're towering above your childhood bully, Brian Stevenson Jones. Everybody called him the hyphen because of his last name. It was hyphenated. His parents like his mom and dad got divorced and
Yeah.
his dad like remarried and they used like a non-traditional hyphenation, right? So you know how like it normally goes in, what's the order it goes in? Is it the man's first and then the woman's?
I think it's a woman's
Is
first,
that
I
what it
believe.
is?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because that's what my
Yeah,
mom
well,
does.
yeah,
Yeah.
woman's first, then the man's. So like they did it the other way around.
Okay.
Like they used his dad's name first and then his stepmom's, and it just felt like kind of emasculating. And he was very sensitive about it. And you look down and you
Ow.
look into his
What?
face and you think of all those times that he internalized that rage and aggression and took it out on little old Pat Dean.
Sure.
There were several times, like one time you were in high school and you were getting ready to do like a performance in band,
Yeah.
right? There was like an assembly and like your parents were in the stands and everything, and you guys like went out, you were gonna play like it was like a Christmas assembly, and you're gonna play a bunch of Christmas songs or whatever. And you
Okay.
like bend over to pick up your sheet music and he like gives you a wedgie and you're wearing white boxers with red hearts on them and everybody
Fuck.
sees it and they laugh.
Hyphen. I can't believe he's back. God damn it.
So you're wearing a suit of armor, you're looking through like a slat. He doesn't see you. He goes, you go, my name is Patrick. Suddenly fueled with the rage of a childhood of being bullied, he says, huh. And he looks at the crowd. He goes, I once knew a Patrick. And everybody and the red team's like, oh yeah, what was he like? They were like, tell us more. They were like really into it. And the blue team was like, fuck you, who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
What a
One guy
strange
pulls his
reaction.
cock out and he's like starts pissing over the rail. Brian
Why?
Stevenson Jones, BSJ, the hyphen, he like dodges it artfully. The guy he goes, fuck. All right, he puts his dick away.
All right. This is getting way out of hand, man.
And he goes, the Pat that I knew was a whiny little baby. And he turns to you and he starts making like that whiny face with his fists in his eyes. And he starts going, wah, wah, wah.
I'm the baby.
He
You're
walks
the
he
you're the one
walks
who
back
couldn't
to his
handle
horse.
having a woman's name second for some reason. Fuck you.
You
You're
think
the
about saying
baby.
that,
What an asshole.
but you think he doesn't deserve to know. You say, I'll let my jousting do the talking.
Oh, okay.
He gets on his horse.
So he doesn't know it's me.
He doesn't know it's you.
Oh, I thought he was trying to get in my head. Fuck. Okay.
No, he has no idea it's you. He
Wow.
definitely uses you as a reference and fuel for his fire.
Goes both ways. I'm pissed now.
So you breathe heavy in
Yeah.
that heavy metal suit. You stare down into that spotlight on the other end of the rail. You see the hyphen. He like runs his thumb across his throat like he's gonna slit your neck.
I hate this guy.
And he positions the lance at his side and holds tight. You hear a bell and your horse is off. And you think about all those moments where he made your life hell when there was no need for it. It was all so unnecessary. And it
It's
was all
such
just a product of this guy's inability to justify his own manhood in the face of this thing that he takes affront to,
it's so stupid. Like what a stupid
the
I
hyphen.
hate You know what I do is as we get closer, I shout out, "Hey hyphen, fuck you." To like
You say, hey, hyphen, fuck you. And you see that he kind of sits up, caught off guard, and you run that lance right into his fucking chest.
oh, you motherfucker.
You thrust forward. You see him get knocked off the horse. You feel the lance make contact with the ground, and you like lose control of the lance and you drop it at your side, and you almost fall off the horse yourself. You barely manage to keep on, and the blue
Fuck
side
yes.
erupts in a chorus of cheers. The blue side erupts. The red people just start screaming, they're filing out. You turn back around and you see the joust standing straight up in the air. You get off the horse, you walk over, and you see that that lance has been run right through the heart of Brian Stevenson Jones,
Oof.
and he's pinned to the dirt beneath it. He's spitting blood out of his mouth.
Why did they make me Oh my god.
You walk over him, you stand over him, your mask still closed. What do you do?
I just start screaming for like a medic or something.
The
I
the
take
you're
my
like
helmet off.
medic, medic.
Yeah.
You're like medic, med, and the woman who's like the hostess of the whole thing, she says there were no medics during the old times.
Okay. 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 Then get me a doctor. Get me
You
a
hear boom, boom, boom. The lights above you turn out.
what?
The hyphen lays there, spitting blood out of his mouth, looking straight up into the ceiling. You take your helmet off. He looks at you and he goes, looks like he sees a fucking ghost. He goes, Patrick?
Yeah.
He goes, are you real? And he
Yeah,
reaches
man.
out to like touch your face. What do you say to him?
I go, man, I'm so sorry that this happened.
You say, I am so, and then his head just goes limp
Oof.
and he dies right there.
Not good.
Your waitress kind of walks over the rail. She goes, oh, she goes, yeah, hey, we took care of your tabs. You need anything else? She goes, your clothes are in the dressing room. Just grab them and you're good to go. She goes, thanks for coming to Old Times.
All right.
So everything kind of shuts down. You go get your clothes. You change. You leave the armor on the dressing room floor. You walk
Leave the
back out to cross the pit of dirt. You see the hyphen still just lifeless, laying there, pinned.
Oh man.
That lance right through his fucking heart.
Yeah.
You go, okay, I'm gonna try to go find somebody. You like walk outside, right?
Yeah.
You walk out, you're like looking for somebody. There's a bunch of people in the parking lot. They walk over to you and they go, you fucking asshole. You go, you ruined it.
What?
He goes, you know how much money you just cost me? And he takes like a swing at you. You kind of like step back, and then this other lady's like, I had 5 grand riding on this thing. And slowly these people from the red side start like coming up, and they're all telling you how much money they cost you, and they beat you to death
Well,
right in the
no,
parking
no.
lot. They beat you to death.
I didn't want to do it.
They beat they beat you to death. You start like crawling like back into old times. You're like crawling, right? And you look like through the doors into the fucking pit, and you see Ivan Brian Stevenson Jones. You see his head just like looking back at you, eyes dead, and then they beat you to death right there in the parking
Oh
lot.
my God. That wasn't my
They
fault.
beat
They
you.
made me do
They
it.
stomp you out. They stomp you out, and they all fall in like the chewed up turkey legs that come out of your stomach as they
Oh my
beat you to death.
God.
They all slip in it. They all slip in those half chewed up turkey legs,
What a awful.
strewn all across the parking lot. Yeah, they had a serious gambling problem, and you cost them a lot of money.
Okay, but that's not. I didn't. They
They
made
beat
me
you to
do
death because
it.
you
They
caused
made
them money.
me.
You signed a waiver, Pat, and you certainly didn't put up much of a fight.
Well, there's a lot of them, and I'm probably exhausted, and I'm in a weird
And then when
place.
you found out it was the hyphen, you sort of like really got into it. So, I
Damn.
don't know. You killed a guy and then you were beaten to death.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I deserve it in an odd way.
But hey,
Fuck.
you beat the challenge. You beat the challenge though. They put your name on a mug and they put the mug in a glass case behind the bar. The same they do with every challenge winner. And they put a picture of you. They didn't get a picture of you at the time of your winning because of everything that happened. So they just took a picture of the smear that you were left in the parking lot. And that's what they put up for the picture next to your mug. And then
Man.
every single one of these that somebody wins, there's like the question they ask them. They say, "What was the hardest part of the challenge?" And then there's it says N/A/ killed.
Fuck. That is so bad. Oh man.
All over the parking lot.